With the uproar over his first summit with Russia's leaders still reverberating throughout the halls of political Washington, we learned tonight President Trump has already told his staff to work on a sequel. And the president is again blaming the messenger, the media, for obstructing his message about the original meeting. Correspondent Kevin Corke starts us off tonight from the North Lawn of the White House. Good evening, Kevin.
Brett, good evening. The White House would certainly be loath to describe this as a do-over. Instead, they're calling this a continuation of an important conversation, as we learned late this afternoon by way of Twitter from Sarah Sanders, the White House press secretary. Russian President Vladimir Putin could be on his way to Washington as soon as this fall. The tweet came late this afternoon. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders writing that the president had asked his National Security Advisor John Bolton to invite Russian President Vladimir Putin to Washington in the fall, with Sanders adding that the discussions were already underway. But that apparently came as a bit of news to a key member of the president's national security cadre.
Were you aware of that? Just want to clarify, because
I think based on my reaction, I wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
But the news did little to blunt criticism of the president's handling of the Helsinki summit and his seeming vacillation over whether or not he believes Russia is still targeting U.S. elections with cyber warfare. And that seemed to frustrate the president, who, in a hail of tweets this morning, placed blame for the negative narrative on so-called fake news media, repeatedly chiding them for suggesting he simply wasn't tough enough on Russia, tweeting that he'd recognized Russian meddling many times, calling the Putin summit a great success, adding, "I look forward to our second meeting." The president's declaration coming just hours after a detailed report in the New York Times that suggested 2 weeks before his inauguration, Mr. Trump was briefed by CIA Director John Brennan, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and NSA Director Admiral Mike Rogers, in a report that showed Mr. Trump highly classified intelligence indicating that Vladimir Putin himself ordered cyber attacks to sway the 2016 election. In an interview with CNBC this afternoon, the president said he'd already been tougher on Russia than any president in many, many years, and that would continue if things didn't improve between our two countries.
If that doesn't work out, I'll be the worst enemy he's ever had. The worst he's ever had.
In signing an executive order to encourage investment and new training for American workers to better prepare them for jobs of tomorrow and today, President Trump this afternoon tried to shift the nation's focus back toward his domestic agenda.
To keep this momentum going, to continue this economic miracle, and that's what it is. It's a miracle what's happened in the last year and a half. We must invest in job training and vocational education.
Unveiling the National Council for the American Worker, the administration said its plan will create hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of new jobs over the next 5 years. Brett, for context, we can tell you that the last time Vladimir Putin came here to the White House was all the way back in 2005. Last time a Russian president came here, 2010, Dmitry Medvedev made his way here. It's been a long time, no matter how you look at it. Brett?
Kevin Corke live on the North Lawn. Kevin, thanks.